Hello, I'm Simon Pilbeam and I'm the product manager of Cinegy Air, Cinegy's playout software. As product manager of Cinegy Air, I'm responsible for the day-to-day development and documentation and all the general housekeeping that goes into releasing a software product. Cinegy Air comes in two flavors. It comes as Air or Studio, and you get all of that in the same bundle. You just decide which way you want to use it. So Cinegy Air is our scheduled play-in software. Cinegy Studio, though, is a gallery-based play-in software GUI, which allows you to manually play in your media files. So you get both flavors in the same piece of software. So we're constantly updating Cinegy Air, and there are lots of small changes that add up to big changes in a major release. So yes, there are very exciting things coming along. Most of them are operational. Some of them can be major features like loudness control, like Kantar watermarking, like HDR, like UHD was several years ago. You know, we're constantly adding your current codecs and workflows into the system to support all of our customers' needs. From a customer's point of view, it's a very cost-effective package that you get because it is purely software, and that software includes Cinegy Title, the on-screen graphic design tool and playout engine built into the software itself. So you do all of your own creation and playout of media and graphics combined. So making bugs is very simple, making lower thirds is very simple, and can be very easily learned. It also has the attraction of having both Studio and Air at the same time, so you can change operation without actually having to change the software. You just choose the way you want to work the system, and the correct GUI will then be employed. So I suppose I've overseen the development of Nielsen watermarking and now Kantar watermarking as well. So those have come through the integration of different elements into the product. So it's developed even in the short time that I've been in charge of it. And it's a challenge keeping me on my feet. So the thing I'm most proud about is being able to deliver what customers actually require, because they're using it in an operational way. We're designing it as engineers. They can force us down the road that they wish to go, and very often do. One of the most interesting recent innovations would be moving our software into the cloud environment, and particularly suitable is Cinegy Air as playout software. And we have several major broadcasters who are actually operating entirely in the cloud. So one is a major Australian broadcaster. They run something like 115 channels, and maybe slightly more than that now, in their own cloud. So they have their own cloud environment. And a major North American broadcaster who runs it all in the AWS cloud currently. So those sorts of innovations are what has happened recently. We've pushed forward the boundaries and been at the very forefront of playout in the cloud, and we're continuing. So I mentioned it's possible to run Cinegy Air in private cloud or AWS. Of course, it's also, because it's software, it will just run in Google Cloud and the Microsoft Cloud as well, Azure. So all of those platforms are available for people to try out. And one of the ways you can try out Cinegy for yourselves is to go to Channel in the Cloud on the AWS environment, and you can purchase a pre-built channel. In effect, you just feed it media and you'll be able to try all of the features of Cinegy Air for yourself without having to do a full purchase. You just rent it by the hour. As product manager of Cinegy Air, I get to see and approve or not the feature requests that come through from clients and customers and partners even, who get to feed in their ideas about what they'd like to see in products. So that helps move the product forward, because obviously we then get to a feel for how much demand there is for certain features. If features are very, very urgent, then we can engage through professional services, of which I am also, as a secondary role, part of professional services here in the UK. And we can then push that forward and through the processes of testing, documentation, development, all of the things that you need to go into bringing a feature into a piece of software, because we can't just add it and release it ad hoc. It has to go through a testing regime so that we know we haven't broken anything else and all of our other customers are going to be upset. So as product manager of Cinegy Air, it is always a bit of a challenge to keep everybody happy, and unfortunately some people do get disappointed that we can't do all the changes for everybody instantly, or even within a couple of weeks, in some cases. So we literally have to add a roadmap of things that we wish to put in but aren't necessarily crucially important. They're going to be subtle changes. Somebody wants, for instance, to be able to display categories within a timeline view. Well, you'd think that would be quite simple, but actually then there's a lot of how do you want to see it, what size is it going to be. There's all of the elements that go together to produce, at the end of the day, something that's going to work rather than something that's going to upset all of our other customers because they weren't expecting that. Because Cinegy is owned and run by basically a husband and wife team, it's very easy to get through to them and to other colleagues within the company and explore really ways of changing things, making things better, improving our workflows, our design, our development, all of that. It works very, very quickly, and we don't have endless meetings about things. Normally a decision is made pretty quickly. So we undercut the large companies, if you like, by being able to interact on a personal level with most of the rest of our colleagues. Having come from a very large organization, which I won't mention, it's very nice to work for a family-run business in effect, but it's quite a large family-run business, and the family's getting larger all the time. We don't have a massive sales force, we don't have a massive development team, but we do rely on our network of partners around the world who feed in, help out, filter, do all of the things that we don't have time to do as a company. But it is really enjoyable working and getting answers to questions rather than being caught up in a large corporate environment. One of the big resources that a lot of people still don't know about is open.cinegy.com, and if you go to that website, that contains all of the information you could possibly want to know about any of our products, including all the manuals, all the top tips, all the GitHub repositories, ways to do things, stuff that you wouldn't even imagine, and you can spend the rest of your life running through that. But it is a resource that even we use ourselves, and you don't even need to sign up for it. You just go to it. It's an open web page. open.cinegy.com will tell you all you need to know.